Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to an exciting, riveting, and amazing Propagandacast from me, host Imperial Dane, the one, the only Master Propaganda Heroes like Defender of the Fatherland. Off here to a 2v2 on Dreux Scout. In the west, it is Kaiser Friedrich and Crossfire here, fighting for the Oberkommandus Germany, Deutschland. Here with the... let's just go with the 7th Panzerdivision here, with support from the Luftwaffe ground forces nearby, Fallschirmjäger Regiment. Versus the Soviets here with Rometh and DirtyF fighting for the Red Army in the Soviet Union. Taking on the role here of the 7th Mechanized, or Guards Mechanized Corps. I guess we'll switch the mode to the 3rd Panzerdivision then, so it doesn't become 7th versus 7th. With Defensive and NKVD featuring KV-8s, Radio Intercept, Commissar Command Squads, Scorched Earth, Anti-Tank Overwatch, Line Detain Guns, Heavy Mortars, Advanced Fortifications, Heavy Machine Guns, Anti-Tank Overwatch again, very popular ability of course for 2v2s. Even 1v1s a bit. Luftwaffe ground forces, of course, with the heavy fortifications, smoke bombs, Fallschirmjäger, variant assault, and airborne assault in just Crossfire here with elite armored Overwatch and special operations. Domineer conscripts and Penal Trooper Scout Custodian for Dirty Finisher. And then the South Friedrich advance with Sturmpionier, Volksgrenadiers, Crossfire north with Volksgrenadier and Sturmpionier. Big hearty thanks to my Patreon supporters who keep me going through thick and thin and helps keep the Propagandacast running. So big thanks for all those. Would not be able to get this far without them. Other people enjoy ranked part Patreon. So, with those little commercial messages out of the way, we get here first engagement up north here as Crossfire's Vanguard clashes here with some of Rometh's engineers, quickly pushing them back there. In the south here, DirtyF looking to grab the southern fuel point. Meanwhile, Friedrich there hitting the car point, knowing that we can keep the Soviets off the cut-off point there for the fuel. It doesn't really matter if they have the fuel if they're not getting any. Tactically, very solid move there by Friedrich. That said, his Volksgrenadiers are a bit unsupported, so the question is also doesn't serve as, shall say, a bit of a diversion as well to then allow the troops to move up here to grab the fuel point in return. I'm not entirely sure. North here, wire up here, Sam Maxwell here. Crossfire taking a bit more of a steady approach here. In the south, the Scout car rushes straight into the Volksgrenadiers without the assistance of the Sturmpionier. They do struggle more with the M301, as the Sturmpionier will typically be your early source of serious DPS against the Scout car here. Not that they can't damage it at all, but they do not do as much. There we go. Brandhand Grenade, of course, fast track here for Friedrich. There's a very fast battle headquarters here from him. We got the Punions arriving, the Volksgrenadiers there. Send them siege for the conscripts. Sandbags part wide down. Lots of part 1, in fact. Up north, meanwhile, Crossfire is just continuing his fortification works. I feel like as the Oberkommandus, like, is both something that's a bit risky, but at the same time, the way the factions all designed, something you can also at times be kind of encouraged to. But right now, I think this is a bit awkward because it means Rometh could technically just ignore Crossfire and just hammer down hard on Friedrich, which sort of slowly seeing here. So I feel like Crossfire, of course, while it's certainly great to set up fighting positions ahead of time, he may also want to make sure that Rometh can't mess with Friedrich either. Drug for Crossfire, more full for Friedrich. He certainly can't rush out any Fallschirmjägers. No Fallschirmpionier either. That's Company Heroes 3. The Wehrmacht. Up north here, we got the Volks holding up here. We got combat engineers pushing northwards there for Rometh. But yeah, they're definitely focusing hard on Friedrich here. Perhaps again, sensing here that Crossfire was digging in. Figured he, again, Friedrich might be the easier target. But now we can see there, Rometh starting to push northwards there. Again, also worth noting, he's also been basically fortifying up north. Again, as Crossfire comes towards the center, Rometh does have a small assault party here, which will easily dispatch that one lone Volksgrenadier squad. In the center here, troops pushing forwards here, Sturmpionier in a bad spot. In the south here, Friedrich advancing for the fatherland here. Scout car blazing into the troops here of the 3rd Panzerdivision, 5th Panzergrenadier Company, and Crossfire with the 7th Panzergrenadier Company. In the south, the Pune troops flying away there. Pantherfast off in the scout car. Almost scouted there too, but not quite enough there for Friedrich to really light it on fire. In the center, the Rometh forces are being overwhelmed. They're steadily worn down by the Volksgrenadiers assault. And up north, though, Rometh has made pretty much good progress with no response at all from Crossfire to this particular maneuver. In the south, the Volksgrenadiers keep up the fuel push, but now surrounded by the Pune troopers, Friedrich has clearly advanced too far and will have to fall back. But apparently is kind of stumbling holds here because DirtyF is taking a pretty sort of far southern route here, which most players will never ever even think of existing, except of course when the scout car's about to get knocked out. Then suddenly they remember this part of the map exists. Funny how the human memory works. And there we go, we finally got the last German commander and the last commander of the match. It is Special Operations with Radio Silence, the Sturmoffizier, Infiltration Tactics, the Infrared-Sturmgewehr 44 and the Befehlspanzerkampfwagen 5, or Command Panther. Northeast Sturmpioneer full shot in the position again, dug in. It's going to get a bit more expensive for Crossfire to easily push his way through that, though. With just one conscript swap versus Sturmpioneer, the full grenadiers, not too difficult either. Straight for the car point here. Good work there by the Germans messing about disrupting. Crossfire's now 2 command points. He's also gone for an MD-34, but crucially, this does start to open up for the Fallschirmjägers, which would certainly give him a bit more of an elite infantry presence, and Crossfire goes for the Sturmoffizier. Thumbs up to that. Very nice to see that. German officers certainly had a somewhat hands-on presence. And as always, that's funny, that really tends to not get German officers really that way much presence on the battlefield in coming years' games, but yeah, German officers tend to be, quite out there, which also tends to result in, higher casualties amongst them, obviously. But anyways, Volks going straight for the scout car here up north here, push forward well there. Conscript units holding back here, grab northern field point. Strafbart taking to the Volksgrenadier here, MG-34 setting up. Definitely outpushed, I extended here in the south, Mr. Friedrich versus Dirty Finisher. Dirty Finisher, of course, landing in a small flanking with the scout car. Veteran 2 on it already, by the way. Quite impressive. 10 kills too. Certainly shows what an M31 in the right hands can do. Meanwhile, Crossfire with the forward battle headquarters there is once we find the fuel point being captured there by Rometh. They also got a commerce out there for Dirty Finisher, so there's certainly some amount of officers on both sides. Thumbs up to that as well. Until it's shot. No, that's the Fear Propaganda here by Dirty Finisher. Take cover, men! They're bombarding us with Karl Marx's Das Kapital! Don't read it or you'll fall asleep! Mines here from Rometh. Fresh positions here being dug in, but we can see the Crossfire's quickly racing across here with a bit of Sturmgewehr assistance. No Fallschirmjägers here for Friedrich yet. We do have medics on the way there. MG-34 was the Commissar. Quickly raking in with MG-34 fire. Up north here, Fulton's advancing fairly aggressively here for Crossfire. He's also brought in an MG-34 here versus the Soviets. Yeah, not much else here from the Soviets. No sign of tech yet. There we go. Rometh, just as I said, let's start building the tank repeating command there. Not quite yet there for Dirty Finisher. Friedrich can soon start calling in the Fallschirmjäger here from some unknown Fallschirmjäger regiment attached to the 3rd Panzerdivision. As the word believes, some independent Fallschirmjäger regiments here and there sort of attached wherever they were needed, or, got cut off from the main division, and so just, part of another unit until they could get back. Particularly on the eastern front, that would not have been too uncommon. MD-34 here and hit by the 6th Division field gun. Need to pull that one before it gets utterly annihilated, and there you go. Pop goes the weasel. Utterly shattered here by Rometh's says 3 Sturmpioneer counter crew die. There you go. Rometh sees the opportunity to rush straight forward, taking heavy fire here. Grenade assault there, thumb. Oh, and the Sturmpioneer get wiped. But the MG-34 somehow crew survives the full grenade assault. Really rubbish luck there for Crossfire and amazing luck there for Rometh. Pantherfast on the scout car. Oh no, it flaps. The gunner got killed. The gun guy firing it got killed, and so the entire thing fell apart there. Another good bit of luck there for the Surts. Fallschirmjäger pushing forward without being affected here by the Fear Propaganda artillery and are a bit demoralized. Need to retreat those Fallschirmjäger soon. They are definitely having an impact here on Friedrich's men, but not Friedrich, but Dirty Finisher's men. Not so much in his own. Sadly, the Volksgrenadiers cannot merge for the Fallschirmjägers. Need to treat those Fallschirmjägers. Well, unfortunate for Friedrich, very fortunate for the Soviets. Truck on the way there for Crossfire. MD-34 holding up here. So yeah, bow. Only tank for Rometh. Dirty Finishes to go for that. Probably intends to go straight for the mechanized armor company, and so is less in a rush to go for light vehicles. No schwerer Panzer quarters yet for the Germans. Friedrich there, of course, losses MG-34. Not great for the Germans. Great for the Soviets. Falcon is being reinforced. And we do have a truck out here for Crossfire, so moving ahead there for some armor in the near future, maybe some Obersoldaten. Certainly wouldn't hurt. As for Friedrich, I mean, some more Fallschirmjägers could be a very handy idea here. That said, I've noticed most Oberkommandos players typically only really go for one Fallschirmjäger squad. If they go for any more elite infantry, they'll typically just go for Obersoldaten. I mean, it's not like they're bad, obviously. Obviously, they're quite good. There's go for them for a reason, but at the same time, fighter makers do pack a punch if you get like more than one squad. But anyways, artillery fire here. Germans definitely continue to have some issues here. There's the Red Army. Attempt to fuck someone flank through here in the south could, I think, be fairly effective here versus Dirty Finisher, though of course it would also be of help to Friedrich if he could somehow get rid of that scout car. 13 kills in the ace. That scout car's been doing absolute ace work here for Dirty Finisher. Up north here, we got the photographs of the conscripts here. MG34 there in Rometh's command, providing excellent fire support for those Frontovics. In the south here, though, Friedrich pushes forwards here. Fallschirmjägers, Volkskontingent and Sturmpionier. And this time around, Dirty Finisher just realized he's utterly outmatched here and has to fall back. Scout car there, by the way, ace level, is also very quick to vacate. Sturmpioniering forwards. Maybe some sandbags and mines around here could be an idea there for Friedrich. Theoretically, he could even try and set up a flak emplacement. I doubt he's going to do that. We got Raketenwerfer. No truck yet for him. Schwerer punted quarters. Probably going to be set up around here to defend the fuel point and the carve point, which has just been lost to Rometh once more. In the south there, he is trying to get to the fuel point, but we can see there, Dirty Finisher's M31 continues to be an absolutely excellent adversary here for Friedrich's infantry. And we actually do get a flak in place. We do get a 30mm flak, a 2cm flak 38. So yeah, that's a fun one there. That should help versus both the scout car and, of course, any infantry. It's not very often you see that one. They did have to, I think, buff it a bit, plus other things there. Sturmhoff's a bit in the center here. How will Dirty Finisher, of course, respond to the arrival of the flak 38? Got a Granate off there, Brandhandgranate. Okay, there we go, knocks out the scout car. Another great kill there for Friedrich and the German army. Still should take up Schwerer punted quarters going up down the carve point and the fuel point, making either much tougher to take here for Rometh. His heavy mortars out there. Germans now looking much better off here. But again, I'm curious to see how well this flak emplacement will work out. I'm also a bit concerned due to the slight elevation terrain is going to completely misfire, because Kamenis 2 does have a bit of an issue with the certain weapons being completely fudged over by any mild elevation in the terrain. So we'll have to see that. Lightning gun there for Crossfire. Better artillery, of course, is never a bad idea. Authorization is up. Could go for Panther 4 Moldier here versus the Soviets. I think that'd be an excellent idea. There you go. Friedrich now exploring the fact that Dirty Finisher's bit on the back foot there to move to assist his teammate here, flanking into Rometh's side here. Good push there by Friedrich against Rometh. Of course, he needs to be careful, doesn't leave this too undefended. We can see there, Dirty Finisher suddenly again figures out, oh yeah, he can flank for the south. Thumbs up to Dirty Finisher though, of course. Sturmhoff is here close to T2. Low on health. But yeah, most players again will never take this path. So, you know, thumbs up to Dirty Finisher for doing it. But again, most players, again, this part of the map just basically doesn't exist. Molotov there trying to deny them cover. And go, flak emplacement, catching the penal troops, then absolutely ripping into the nade with its 2cm flak gun. We got more troop time from the north, though. Again, we can sort of see a slight flaw here in Friedrich's plan. It does require the opponent, you know, attacks only from one angle and doesn't like, you know, win from another. But in this case, though, it does survive the satchel charge. Pretty lucky there for Friedrich. Interesting, at least. In this case, innovation also doesn't hurt Friedrich's flak gun. That's also good for him. And the pimps are there if they need to retreat before they get pinned down. And that's it. Friedrich does need to bring assistance here to the flak emplacement. Maybe some more supporting elements, because it's clearly not enough. North hit, car point hit, fuel point hit. We also got all 3 victory points under German control here. So they're actually starting to bleed out the Surds fairly well. Schwerer punted quarters up here for Friedrich. Much more safely positioned. And we do get a Panther 4 Moldier there for Crossfire. So good. Thumbs up. Repairing the flank in place, of course, would also be a very good idea here. So there we go. The crew looking fairly untraumatized from having been hit by a satchel charge. Hey, are you light all right over there, Vats? Are you all right, Vats? They set off a satchel charge. Oh, scheiße, they're deaf. Meanwhile, Dirty Finisher with the T-3476 out. The flak emplacement will definitely struggle with that. Got the Sturmofficer here at Vetsen C2. Grenade assault here. Getting caught a bit on artillery fire. Artillery they're heading back to the Soviets. Up north here, Contras there, pushing back some of Crossfire's forces as Panther 4 is right around the corner. Friedrich could of course also go for Panther 4. He could also decide to go for something bigger. In the south here, the flak emplacement was the T-34s from 6. Definitely not an engagement the flak emplacement's going to have much of a chance with here. Shoots. Misses the Kidnapper for that, and the flak emplacement does go down, but you could argue it actually did its part there. Held back, 2 infantry squads. Survived a satchel charge. I mean, not a lot of support weapons can, just, say they survived a satchel charge like, 45 munitions. But yeah, can't survive a T-34 from 6. Falchmakers nearby, charge again, fully upgraded with FT-42s. Again, hasn't called in anymore. Definitely going to need some armor soon. And he does appear he's going to go for a Panther here versus Dirty Finisher. We got Blend Carbers here, nice throw there, thumbs up. Fulton's moving up. We even got Valiant Assault here. Oh my, that's actually pretty good ability, but similar to like, some of our players ignore some otherwise powerful abilities, some German players do similarly, and I do feel like Valiant Assault is one of those powerful abilities that German players tend to overlook. So, thumbs up to Friedrich. Panther 4 there with 1 kill, close to veterans who won. Still, the Search were able to effectuate a pretty solid assault here in the south. The flak emplacement again just wasn't enough. Had it been a flak 36, obviously that would have looked very different. But Communist 2 sadly does not have the flak 36. Also known as the flak 88 more commonly, but technically its designation was flak 36. Sturmpinium is the penal troopers. Rometh has also got his own T-34s out. And Dirty Finisher could of course start churning out soon more in the near future. Still, Germans controlling the sun of the fuel pump for some time certainly help, slowing down the sort of ability to churn up too many T-34s too fast. Friedrich here reinforcing healing. Fresh assaulted to gain the sun and fuel point. T-34 pushing back there for Dirty Finisher's T-34. But yeah, I do suspect Friedrich's plan at this point is either Panther or King Tiger. The which of the two, of course, is a bit harder to say here. Kenmeth now being avoided here by the Commissar. Veteran 3, 9 kills. Falkman falling up with Kenmeth wiped. Great kill. And we do get another Valiant Assault for Kaiser Friedrich. 2 thumbs up to that. Falkmegas, Volkskonde Sturmpioneer ripping apart the Commissar there. He actually boosted one of his units there with the Commissar's own not one step back ability. Very nice. Has to grab and then retreat. And we do get a Panther for Friedrich. Anyone understand to get the Panther for the advancing T-34s from 6. Shots going off low place, heavy casualties here, and Rometh and Crossfire seem to be sort of locked in a struggle of attrition here. Of course, things are about to get a bit more comfortable for the Germans once anti-tank Overwatch gets unlocked. As that is a very, very powerful anti-tank ability. To put it gently. Smoke going off, Panther 4 ripping in into the third infantry. 5 kills, veterans 1. Full wipe there on Rometh. Excellent kill there. Gahan 97 to 398. Forcing healing, that's certainly going to be, I think, a pretty big stops like any attempt to go for King Tiger, because King Tiger's against this, it's just not even, remotely worthwhile to go for King Tiger once these abilities are active, because they just ram you with the T-34, and then the anti-tank will watch just melt your King Tiger. Also worth noting, the Soviets absolutely did not have the skills to perform anything like that. I mean, no armies really did, but least of all, the Soviets. T-34, there was the Panther 4 combat blitz here, thumbs up to that. Shot bounced. In the south, we got the Panther moving forwards here for Friedrich and the German army. Straight to a large block of penal troops, Commissar, of course, here. Force to fall a bit back, and we got Fear Propaganda there. Nice response here. For this, Kaiser Friedrich may, of course, want a Panther 4 to deal with that. Or a lot of machine guns. But Panther 4 is just going to be the better choice to deal with that. And for now, Panther's just crushing the infantry. I mean, that works too, as you can see. Good shot from the T-34 strike through the sidearm of the Panther. Well, technically no sidearm in the game. That's Company 3. Commissar foot fumes with the Volksgrenadiers, ripping into them with some well-trained ease. Panther there, driving ahead here for Deutschland, scores another kill. halfway towards Veteran, that Panzerkampfwagen 5. Dirty Finish, of course, in response to the issue to 5. Or Panther brings in the issue to 5. Rometh. We'll have to see what Rometh does. So Dirty Finish, he does have a bit in power floats, like support weapons, more infantry. I think are all excellent additions here for Dirty Finisher. Caches could also be another way. Like fuel, munitions cache. In particular, like, if they both have anti-tank Overwatch, him building several munitions caches could, be a great way to support this, very, powerful ability. And certainly I've noticed some players do that. Panzer IV being pursued by the T-34 from 6, almost got it here. Rometh, they're extending here. Good shot from the field gun, should save the T-34 here against, thanks to the field gun. Panther IV managed to make a fairly narrow turn, it'll save it, hopefully. For Crossfire's sake, it should fight there for Dirty Finisher. Just go push back here. T-34 from 6 moving forwards. And we got the Panther there slowly being fixed up. Almost good to go here. MD-34 was the foot grenades in the south here. Penal troopers, again another sort of mass assault here, but the comms are backing up here. Comms is very good at, sweeping away any issue for using fear propaganda, tilting course further, boosting the hard firepower of the penal troops. You'll see notes that some players, again, go for this sort of mix, in particular with NKVD, because you also then, of course, get anti-tank Overwatch for dealing with any armored threats. Plus, some players will also make use of the Scorched Earth policy, because that can also deny the opponent any positions. Or at least ability to grab points easily. Grabbing the northern point here, Vetchney fleet on the Sturmoffizier, Panther moving towards the center. We do also have a command Panther for Crossfire, so that's 2 Panthers now on the field here. Sending in pretty aggressively towards the south, almost. No? Yes? Looks like Crossfire's planning an assault here to assist his teammate. Does need to be careful not to push too far. Again, anti-tank Overwatch. It's not a joke. Panther 4 there, slowly approaching match C3. Very good there for Crossfire. Field bombarding, pushing back here. Crossfire's men obviously could keep advancing, but there's a high chance that Field will just rip apart his men alongside the T-34 from 6, which is now achieved virtually. 2 smoke screen is off here, a bit late to the party there for Crossfire, but at least he tried. Slow push here forwards. We've got another Panther Friedrich. Okay, double Panther. I mean, it's going to be a threat to the armor. Not huge one to the infantry, though. Fortunately, they're getting SC3. In fact, they're steadily approaching Vetchney 4. And then very steadily approaching the grave as the T-34 from 6 lands an absolutely horrendous hit on the unit. Panther 4 straight into the field gun, the T-34. Command Panther moving forwards here for Crossfire. Of course, need to be careful here. And there you go, ramming it. Panther heavily damaged, and there you go. Anti-tank. Oh, watch, Panther 4 needs to at least get out of there, but the Command Panther is pretty much toast here. Because, as you might notice, the artillery's going to pick up more and more steadily, and it's going to be very accurate, at which point it just knocks out the Panther before having a chance to get out. And then, of course, if any tank guns nearby, it further decreases the chance of any kind of survival. So, Crossfire here, of course, heavily punished for using his Command Panther even remotely aggressively. There we go. Another Panther for Friedrich, so that's 2 Panthers here. Down from 2, back to 2. Crossfire, of course, will need to be more careful. Of course, Friedrich, hopefully paid attention there, will be playing his Panthers, of course, also a bit more wisely. Sorry about that. Sturmoffizier there, very, very close for T4. Northern field got lost. We got airborne assault in the south here from Friedrich. Panthers diving ahead here for Deutsch and almost got the issue to 5. No anti-tank Overwatch there, but he clearly doesn't seem to care about it, which is, I'm honestly a bit amazed by Friedrich. Maybe didn't pay attention after all. So far, though, he is not being severely punished by this. His infantry needs to clear out that field gun before that, yeah. He loses a Panther there. Yikes. Even if he does take out the Panther, that's going to be, oh, the T-34, I mean. Even the HE5, they're still going to be fairly expensive there for Friedrich, in particular since that was like, his more veteran Panther that went toast there. HE5 abandoned, infantry's forced back here. So he's going to need to fire at least one more shot on the HE5. He does take out the T-34. 76 at least, he might be able to get out the HE5, but yeah. That ended up being, I think, fairly more expensive for Friedrich than it needed to be. I mean, he could also, like, you know, launch an attack here for the south instead of, like, head-on. I think that would have been much more advisable for Friedrich. Instead of just, like, you know, very narrow assault, a more broad attack from several points here would have been much more successful. Plus, say, back it up the smoke and maybe use valiant assault instead. By trying to make use of the airborne assault here, I think would have been much more successful for Friedrich. And I think overall just, you know, less costly. But oh well. In the center, we can see there, Rometh falling a bit back, need to get the northern victory point back. I mean, for now, I think the smart thing for the Germans is just going to focus on the victory points and bleed out the Soviets as fast as possible. Because with anti-tank Overwatch about, again, tank engagement is going to be very, very unfavorable against the Soviets. In the south here, Falchmakes pushed back with the penal troopers here. Nice wave infantry there from Dirty Finisher. Panther being held back for repairs. More elite infantry across Kaiser Friedrich would be a very smart idea, in particular there's all these penal troopers. And this is particularly, again, by like just going for Obersoldaten, it's going to be a better move than the Fallschirmjägers, because, again, the Obersoldaten can fire at max range, and that way you know, avoid the more effective range of all this stuff. Similarly, Crossfire would also benefit from some Obersoldaten to back all this stuff up, so you can just start melting the Soviets at max range. Because there's just not really much incentive, I think, for Crossfire to close in with the Soviets under current circumstances. Also pushing forward here. Academy everything in a bit of trouble. Definitely extended there for Friedrich. Definitely extended. North here we got the Storm Officer. They're close to the east level. 145. That's within 18. Close to the conscripts. Quick grenade assault. Very nice use of that ability. Again, one of those abilities I feel like a lot of Overcommandos players sleep on, but honestly I think is quite good. One for gun 8 kills, Veti 2. Panther moving forwards. Shot bounced. Shot also bounced. Surprisingly a bit there actually. Panther gets a hit in finally. And another event is Salty. 2 thumbs up to Friedrich. I'm very much liking his fairly consistent use of this ability. It's definitely very good. That said, he definitely needs to split up his men a bit more. Like, you know, there's no reason to blob up. You can just attack from like different angles still towards the same target. And at least make yourself a bit hard for the Maxim. In this case, he attacks the Maxim head on and just melts it. Because again, he has so much firepower, and also crucially, Fallschirmjägers with Event Assault, as you might notice, do pack a hell of a punch. Again, imagine that being also something the MD-44 against stuff would also melt. So yeah, really, really good ability, and definitely gives Dirty Finisher a bit of a hell of a problem. Grabbing the machine gun, I think, would be a very smart move here for Friedrich. Very, very smart move, and there you go. Engineer's almost wiped out. In the center there, we can see another push with victory point here up north, creeping up in the point there. Another T-Fed for Rometh, and Dirty Finisher, no armor. Still advancing here. More elite infantry for Friedrich would be good, but he's probably more likely going for another, like a Panther 4, Jagdpanzer, or maybe trying to look for another Panther. We'll have to see. Center grab there by the Maxim. T-Fed 4. Honestly, Jagdpanzer would probably be more desirable because, again, better range, good rate of fire, decent penetration, but again, just in this case in particular, the range. So it becomes easier to stay clear of anti-tank Overwatch. Falchum is there achieving the ace level, giving them access to a first strike bonus. Of course, in this case, no chance. Oh, and they get whacked by a mine. Yeah, that's painful. That's an excellent killer for Dirty Finisher because those Falchum makers might notice one absolute massive issue there for him. Particularly with Valiant Assault, they were really giving him a hell of a headache. So that's a huge win there. Tactic for Dirty Finisher is going to really put Kaiser Friedrich on the back foot, as now he's going to be lacking, you know, his by far best elite infantry unit. It was also his only elite infantry unit, but that's another story. Command Panther again here for Crossfire. We'll have to see if this one stays along for a bit longer. We're just going to end up committing the same mistake and just get it whacked by an anti-tank Overwatch. Of course, Friedrich needs to be mindful of his Panther for similar reasons. Again, if he wasn't paying attention, you know, who knows. Straight to the double field guns. Shot bounced. Very fortunate that Panther and all these bounces. There you go. Field got a shot through. North here, Command Panther just goes straight at it again and again. We get an anti-tank Overwatch here. Damage engine as well. And that's going to be another Command Panther down. I'm not entirely sure why Crossfire insists on this one. I feel like the first case should have been a very good lesson as to why not to do that, and yet he still does it. I don't really feel there's much to say. Again, Anti-Tank Watch is absolutely, you know, not an okay ability, but that still doesn't mean you're just driving your Command Panther like that. It's like, you know, silly. At that point, he might be just go for Jagdpanzer again, just shoot at them from, you know, a fairly safe distance. Because the Jagdpanzer does have better DPS than the Panther versus armor, at least. And again, safer ranges. So that was definitely, tactically, very, very inadvisable. At least Friedrich there has 2 Panzers going for him, though again, he definitely needs more elite infantry, and I also think Crossfire would benefit from leveraging that a bit harder. In this regard, they're not. It's like one of the Oberkommando's advantages is, like, you know, fairly decent late game infantry, but neither player is really looking to leverage it, especially with Yalta Factory, and they got like bulletins for increased accuracy, so it does feel a bit like, you know, odd. Just a bit odd. Looking to wreck sandbags, we got 141 with 267. Again, I think victory points is going to be the smartest way for the Germans to close this one out. Head on assault again. Tactically, definitely think Friedrich there needs to consider some slightly more efficient tactics. I do think he's relying a bit too much on blob and valiant assault here. Finally going for some orbs like at least. Thumbs up. North here. Pretty fierce hand-to-hand combat here between Crossfire and Rometh. Got the Sturmovs actually kind of flanking in there. 17 kills. Ace level Sturmovs, by the way, is really good. Absolutely tearing apart the third infantry here. Do not sleep on that one. Need to retreat it though before it gets wiped. Which would certainly be a huge blow to Crossfire, meanwhile, if you were to lose that. There we go. Got the Obersoldaten out here. Hardened men of the 3rd Panzer Division. Katyusha there is pretty much the only armored dirty finisher it has, but he's primarily just relying on the field guns and a lot of penal troopers. Obersoldaten armor got the MD-34 ready. Comms are there suppressed. Panzerkampf handling up to engage, and there we go, get him got shot. Smoke there in the MD-34 pushing it back. Good shot from the field gun. T-34 some 6 there for dirty finisher. I'm going for the field gun. Panther 4 diving in. Shot there. On the Panther 4 pushing it back. Oops, I need to be careful here though. Geballte Ladung on the Strafbad home to catch. They did not pay off. The other squad that could go down to the Panther 4. And a wipe there from the Panther 4. Excellent kill there for Friedrich. Meanwhile up north here, Crossfire making up progress. He could also, of course, benefit from more elite infantry, though I think at this stage, Panther 4s is just going to be the better choice there, or Jagdpanzers. Preferably a mix of both, I think. Dirty finish with another T-34 from 6. Rometh here could consider like launching a northern flank attempt, a Crossfire's northern flank again, similar to like how Friedrich insists on taking head on here. Rometh kind of insisting the same against Crossfire, but admittedly Crossfire clearly also insists attacking right into Rometh flank. In this regard, in particular up the north, there's not really much attempts to like outflank the other guy, which I do think tactically is a bit wasteful. Panther versus T-34 from 6, Wetsche to achieve, Schützen enden to the Panzerkampfwagen 5 Ausführung A. Storm officer here suppressed and pinned down here. Need to fall back. MD-34 is doing excellent work there for Rometh. Panther 4 moving in here. We can see a bit more of a split now for Friedrich's forces. Not relying just on raw blob power here. Actually spreading out his front line just a wee bit. If you can take out the field gun then, that would be pretty good for Friedrich. But no, Crossfire the orders that comes on it. Panther 4 being pulled back. They're close to Sturmpinning in here. looking to clear out that field gun crew. Katyusha fire off in return. Supporting infantry arriving to reinforce the fight are immediately hit and forced back. Less great there for Friedrich. North here, Crossfire, another push. Still could do with some Obersoldaten in my opinion, or Panther 4 Jagdpanzer. Fresh push on the center, heavy mortar fire there. Landing and nasty hit, but thanks to light cover, not too nasty either. And the Panther 4 and Panther need repairs again. At this point, the Friedrich might want to consider another Sturm Pioneer Squad or a mechanized regiment for repairs. I think he's actually planning another tank here, though. Might be another Panther 4 or a Panther, we'll have to see. Could also, of course, be he's dreaming of King Tigers, though. Again, there's this anti-tank Overwatch. You really, really, really do not want to go for a King Tiger unless you know your opponent, for some reason, can't aim at it with it. And anti-tank, wait, pops Valiant Assault already. I mean, he does give a sprint outside of combat and Assault way to quickly get troops to the front line, but even there, I think it's like, you know, a bit too far away. Even like if they do sprint to the front line, it's still going to be like, you know, not too much time to like really utilize it once they get there, so I don't know. But again, he did get quickly to the front line. That said, he sends in the infantry without any armored support, so again, I do have to question the wisdom in this. And there you go, Fear Propaganda again here from Dirty Finisher. And we also get here, I believe it's not one step back. No, it's hold the line this time around. Panther being actually pushed in. He's about to lose the Panther, actually. Yeah, Panther needs to get out of there now. Why are you not pulling out the Panther? And he loses his Vetchi 2 Panther for no good reason. That was a really bad call there by Friedrich. Crossfire there with another Command Panther. Okay. I mean, I get the idea. I'm not entirely sure why he keeps going for them when he keeps losing them so fast. Bombers are there about to get wiped out. T-34 is there for Dirty Finisher. Storm up to the folks of the conscripts here. MD-34 there. Another T-34 with a Dirty Finisher. Storm over to the penal troopers. Reclaimers MD-34 setting up P. Not looking like the greatest shot there. T-34 shoots. Decent hit. Wipe the penal trooper squad there. I mean, Dirty Finisher running some infantry issues actually. T-34 close being knocked out. Battle Group about to get knocked out in return. Bit messy here. Still think Crossfire could do with some elite infantry. So the Friedrich's launching an assault to assist his team. It realizing Crossfire in some trouble here. Friedrich launches a counterattack into the flank here, but we can see that the machine guns are quickly being brought in to halt Kaiser Friedrich's flank attack here. Panther's being hauled in now, but that further support here I think is going to be limited because the field gun's just going to start pushing back the Command Panther again. We do see a Katyusha I think getting knocked out there. Looks like someone wasn't quite paying attention, made a mistake there. Meanwhile, you can see the Dirty Finisher launching a southern flank and getting around here. Friedrich is in front line. Thumbs up to cut Dirty Finisher. As for Friedrich, hard to say what he's planning here. Maybe it's a Panther again or a King Tiger. He's got a lot of fuel, just not too much manpower. His Obersoldaten are definitely about to become another casualty statistic at this rate. 93 was 240. Good shot, and then T-34 from 6 almost got it, but the penals from the comms are there continue to be an absolutely potent thorn in Friedrich's side. Again, more hold the line here. Very good use of the Commodore's ability there by Dirty Finisher. Thumbs up. Comms taking 9 last hit it from the Panther 4. 17 kills. Half 8 of T3. Nice hit on the Panther 4. Troop enforcing healing here. T-34's almost good to go. Sender got the Sturm Officer. 27 kills. Absolutely mauling there. Got Katyusha fire. Absolutely wipes the T5 Sturm Officer squad. That's a huge blood of Crossfire. They were absolutely a critical unit for like keeping his entire front line together, and now he's lost it. That is going to be difficult to replace, because even like he just say pops out another one, they're going to be like Veterancy 0. They're not going to have like all the Veterancy abilities, they're not going to have the 5th guy, and they're not going to have the Sturmgewehr on the officer himself. So that is a hell of a blow there to Crossfire. And an absolutely amazing kill there for the Soviets. That really puts a dent into Crossfire, particularly again he didn't have any orbital done or anything like that otherwise. Friedrich, again, I'm guessing it's going to be some kind of armor soon here. Which we should find here from from Dirty Finisher here. A bit of difficulty for Friedrich to attack head on into. Again, he could have flanked, but again, Friedrich seems very, very unhappy about flanking. Like, how do you flank? You know, an attack from Dirty Finisher wasn't expecting. I'll be able to kill up both field guns pretty fast here. You got 60 to 228 here. All 3 upon taking control of the Soviets. Might be able to close the gap between them pretty fast for that. Third T-34 6 for Dirty Finisher. And there you go, going for that Command Panther again. Crossfire's Command Panther he has lived longer, but I think it may about be right to run out of luck, because we got the films flying to the flank here. Main gun out. Somehow survives that, but can it survive much longer? We do also have mechanized waiting up for Crossfire. Is he training of a King Tiger here? Is it just for the repair pioneers? I don't know. Timing does feel a bit odd here for Crossfire. Oh, it's Command Panther. They survive. It's a miracle. Got 6 of us on 189. Clock is ticking pretty rapidly against the Germans. Gonna go for that Schwerpanzer Corps and likely to get another Panther for Friedrich. It's for Crossfire. Again, not in touch with his playing, but it really should be more infantry. Oh, his Schwerpanzer Corps went down. Well, he's not been going for any orbs at all. He's going to have to go for at least a Sturmoffizier there, but he really needs infantry. As for Friedrich, yeah, I mean, you know, probably just churning up more Volksgrenadiers. Again, more Obersoldaten and some Fallschirmjägers would also be very handy. And, you know, some flank attacks. T-Fit will change to the Volksgrenadiers here. Another Panther ready for Friedrich. That squad needs to retreat here. At least run to the point neutral, slightly slowing down the Soviet bleeding here, but it's still looking a bit tough for the Germans overall. So they've managed to build up to a much stronger advantage. That's new fee on that Panther 4 here. Very good for Friedrich. Orbison achieving that T3 here. Got air support called in, and there you go. The Panther was knocked out here with the field guns. Absolutely wrecked. Panther moving up here. Field gun needs to turn through the Panther's arm there, go ramming it, and calling anti-tank Overwatch. Panther barely survived a few seconds. I mean, the anti-tank Overwatch honestly wasn't even needed. That's the retreat there. Almost got the T-Fed Force from 6 there. With the airborne assault here, there we go. Second pass takes it out. Field gun's wiped out, but they'll be able to grab quickly back that with engineers. North here, Crossfire's managed to grab Northern Victory Point. We got 56, it was only 37, but that was just absolutely brutal losses here for Friedrich. Absolutely brutal losses. In comparison, didn't really like affect enough losses on Dirty Finish, I think. Like 2 T-34s for like a Panther 4 and a Panther is like pretty terrible. Like if they get the field gun, maybe a bit better, but otherwise that's pretty bad. Not North Victory been claimed already by Rometh versus Crossfire. Crossfire, again, I'm not in touch with what his plan is. At this point, he seems to be a bit unsure himself. And again, Sturmoffizier getting bettered up fast. Again, maybe some more infantry or some support of some kind. Line for gun is ace level. 32 kills. That's been doing quite well there for Crossfire. Moving on the center here. Finally going for that Sturmoffizier replacement. The Propaganda again here versus Kaiser Friedrich. The Orbs are on the move here. Close to 84 on those gentlemen. And we got Rometh there pushing Crossfire off the northern point there, preventing from getting to it in the first place. So what is Friedrich going to go for next? Will it be more Panthers, more Panther Force? Will it be Jagdpanzers? I honestly don't know. But so far I'm guessing it's going to be more Panthers. Kind of a miss there. Over some machine gun C4. Green in the south actually wipes the engineers. A small win there, in fact. Forces Rometh to replace his engineers. He got lost there. Sturmabwehr fire. That's pretty decent there, but not really going to help against that tank. Particularly since Kaiser Friedrich currently has no anti-tank weapons. No Raketenwerfers, no Panzerschrecks, certainly least of all any tanks or tank destroyers. Up north here, Crossfire is also in some pretty deep sauerkraut. Here's Rometh's assault. There is difficult to stop. The field in particular again remain a pretty solid cornerstone of like most Soviet strategies. As long as they're there, you typically as a German player have a really hard time. Again, another reason to have a bunch of orbitals done because they can theoretically relatively rapidly just melt the crews. That's why I'd probably do that. Anyways. North here, Command Panther pushing back the troops there a bit. Infantry somehow managed to get past the MD-34, then force it back. Grenade assault off. Very nice. We got 51% and 2. German situation remains pretty uncomfortable there for the Germans. Another Panther for Friedrich. He certainly lost quite a few Panthers at this point. Quite a few Panthers. I think we're looking at a total of 3. Which combined with the 2 Command Panthers from Crossfire does mean a total of 5 Panthers, which is, you know, a full platoon of Panthers. 1943. By 1944-45, they would have increasingly been like, you know, more towards 4 Panthers per platoon, I imagine. So, you know. Anyways, that's the Schwer Panther score's gone. Friedrich can't even get out of Panther now. The vector points against them. At this point, it looks pretty bad for the Germans. Panther being hit in the rear by the field guns. Diving out for those Katyushas with the Command Panther. I feel like Crossfire at this point just doesn't quite care. We got another anti-tank Overwatch. Again, very, very, very powerful ability. Also very, very ahistorical for numerous reasons. Panther knocked out. Conflict against the Sturmpionier. 51 to 37, 35. Panther fast off here. The Germans are definitely at this point just collapsing here. They're desperately trying to get to the victory points. But the problem is when they get them, they can't hold them. The Soviets just keep churning out more and more T-34, 76s. And the Germans just can't deal with them because any anti-tank was when they get wiped, and any tanks just get like knocked out by anti-tank Overwatch or field guns. So yeah. Partly again the Germans, I mean, they were really close to having this, but they kind of sort of end up like, you know, sabotaging themselves again. Partly they didn't leverage one of the Oberkommand's advantages, I think enough, which is, you know, elite infantry. I think had he done that, they'd been much smarter, but also crucially, they just relied on kind of like human wave tactics, just hanging it on, even with the infantry, just wasn't efficient long term, and at times also just meant the Soviets could easily push them back. There was definitely a lack of flanking there from the Germans, which I think proved to be rather crucial as the match went on. That, and of course, they just kept throwing away their Panthers in quite frankly very silly manners, like they were T-34s. And the crucial part to keep in mind is the Panther's not a T-34-76. Like, it's not that cheap at all. I mean, even the Panthers from old days just aren't that cheap, and that would also cite them if they honestly used them like that. But yeah, so definitely there was some issue there, both I think tactically, but also like, you know, in terms of like how they leveraged the units. I think was also a big mistake there by the Germans. So there you go. Again, they were close, really close. I mean, again, there were definitely good moves for the Germans, but ultimately they just kind of kept sabotaging themselves with some rather ill-advised maneuvers. So there you go. Hope you enjoyed this match. I learned something from it. If you did, subscribe, like, share, comment on it. Tell a friend, tell a family, but don't tell enemies. Consider donating to the Propagandacast via PayPal. Links in the description. Helps me, you know, keep making these videos. Or if you're in the market for pre-ordering Communist Free, you can do so by the link in the comments. Use the code CoH2. This is Imperial saying cheers and see you all tomorrow for another episode. Bye.